Welcome back to a brand new episode of Private Parts with me, Liv Bentley. This is the podcast where nothing is off limits. This week, I have a very special guest joining me on the sofa, and that is the gorgeous Emily Blackwell.
Woo!
Welcome, Emily!
Hello.
And she's back.
Oh, hello, darkness, my old friend.
Emily and I have this bizarre thing where we say that to each other every time, call each other darkness. I don't know where it started.
And where did that come from?
Because we were dark creatures at a time.
Yeah,
it was when we were filming
cooler.
in Ibiza.
Yeah, I think it was. Well, back in the day.
Memories I have from that series. That was my favourite series on the show.
The one memory I have of Liv Bentley in Ibiza, and it's probably the best thing it's just this picture and image I've got in you, and it will never leave my head. And it's of a morning, right? Liv would wake up. She's tanned as anything. She never slept with any clothes on. Tits out.
Yeah, they're about to say she never slept.
Tits out, brown as you like, big hair, which literally looked like a troll doll.
It still does. Every morning I wake up, that's how it looks. It's horrific.
It was like a troll doll, and she'd walk into my room and be like, I'm going to go for a ciggy. And I was like...
Probably with a drink, because I was so hungover.
Yeah, I was like, okay, Liv, good morning.
No, the funniest... do you remember there was one... I don't know if we can keep this in. There was one morning, and we were filming at our villa. Anyway, a lot of the Towie lot were out in Ibiza at the same time. Anyway, the crew were ringing our door to come in to start setting up. And I'm standing there, I think topless. The crew are coming in and half the Towie lot are leaving, and it's just me, those Towie blokes. I'm standing there.
I remember.
They all looked at me like, what is wrong with you?
I have to say we have had some incredible moments. Like now I'm kind of in a different era, and I'm kind of
You're in the mum era.
I'm in the mum era. My life is like completely different to what it was back then.
See, I'm still in that era of Ibiza.
Yeah, but you know what? I look back and I'm so happy, and I'm so pleased that we got to do all of that.
Oh my God, so am I.
I'm actually, we really have been very lucky at what we've done.
Oh my God, you're joking. I think I had the best 20s because of all of that.
Yeah.
Like...
I mean, at the time, we've thought
crippling anxiety.
We didn't like it. But looking back, I was like, all right, that was brilliant.
Do you miss it?
No, I don't miss it. But like I said, I love that I was able to do it.
Yeah. I think, honestly, my best memories, I think, were from Made in Chelsea.
Those away trips, they were incredible when we travelled loads.
It was just ridiculous. I don't know how we got away with half the stuff we did. I would roll in looking so dishevelled. I
mean, Liv, you did take it to the next level.
Thank
I was
you.
a bit more of a pussy compared to you. I was like the grandma of the group.
But now, can I tell you something? If I go on a night out, I have to have 2 weeks off. Like, my recovery is not the way it used to be. I don't know how, honestly, in Ibiza, we would go out partying till 5 a.m.
Wouldn't touch the sides.
Wake up,
Wouldn't
put my
touch the
face on and
sides.
sharp at filming. Although there was one day I was filming with Harry Barron, and even the director looked at me saying, you really don't look right. And I was like, thank you. Standing there with a caftan and no other clothing on. And I was like, sorry.
So basically, it was Liv naked in Ibiza the whole time.
And I loved it. Why did you originally actually say yes to Made in Chelsea? Because you joined pretty soon after I did, which I always forget.
Yeah, I know. I joined the series after you.
Yeah.
Why did I join? It was one of those classic things where, like, they approached me. I was at a point in my life where I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I just thought, why not? Fuck it. And yeah.
Because I remember your first event day was that funny rowing thing. And there's such a
Henley
cock-off.
Regatta, or whatever it's called.
There's such a cock-off when a new person joins. All the older lot get really threatened and they go, right, is she hot? And then they like, literally, it's a weird one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so weird. It's like your first day at school.
It's horrible.
Yeah, it's actually awful. It's petrifying. Yeah, it's even worse than your first day at school, because you're kind of then having to date people, you know, you're going in there.
And then you date someone else's boyfriend.
Or
and then
you date someone that's someone's, you know,
who was your
snogged or
first? Oh, Mitten. Was that Alex Mitten? How do I remember this shit? For an old alcoholic, my memory's great. Like, I suppose it was a recorded...
No Weinzimers for you, honey. Yeah, I mean, oh God, yeah, I think it was... I can't even think about or look back at those clips. They're actually awful. What was I doing to my face, my hair? Like,
my clothing was offensive. And actually, I remember years ago they used to do Who Wore It Better between me and Jamie Lang, because I had peroxide hair. And I used to do this ridiculous thing where I'd only button my shirt to my belly button. So it was just me and Jamie looked like weird brother and sister in the same fucking clothing. I used to really upset me.
I just wore some weird stuff as well. And I just think, oh my God, half the time, like, what was I doing? Although saying that, I do think that I kind of throughout the whole of Made in Chelsea, even though there has, we've both grown up on the show. Like our
Yeah.
20s was the show.
But you never really made any mistakes. You never cheated.
Are you joking me?
Sorry, have you seen my track
one of my
record?
friend's boyfriend.
Oh wait, fuck you did.
Ex-boyfriends, shall we
But
say?
then, I suppose, but it's interesting that one because then you guys were together for a while. Because I did that with Tristan with Verity.
Yeah, and actually, to be fair, Habs did it to Sam. Like everyone did it to
To
each
each
other.
other.
It's really quite creepy and weird, but it was just like it was just a rite of passage, wasn't it?
But
That's what you did.
when you explain that to someone who's not on the show, they think it's extraordinary and they think it's bizarre that, as in, like, everyone dates everyone and you kind of just get over it. Then
Yeah,
you're like all in the same room and no one says anything. Like, you're just fine with it.
In Essex, it's like not allowed. They look at us guys down south as like weirdos for doing that because it's just they've got loyalty. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. They've got what?
Loyalty. Whereas we just don't.
Do you think, what do you think I actually don't think there is, but do you think there's any, like, misconceptions about you from stuff the public have said, which you actually really don't agree with?
Oh, what you mean, like hate trolls?
Yeah, or do you really did you ever get?
Well, I'm starting to get the old mum brigade.
No, I think
for
they're
me.
the worst. And I'm not even a mother, and I see the comments that some mothers
Full blown like attack, and I never reply to people, but I am like an absolute warrior, keyboard warrior of an evening. Last night I was sitting there furious. I was pacing up and down my kitchen.
Wait, what are they saying?
They get upset when I look nice.
You're joking.
Because they say it's not realistic that I'm a mum and I have my hair done and I put on makeup and I look put together. They said it's unrealistic. And I said, but when my baby naps, I put my makeup on and get showered. Some woman commented saying that she can't even make a coffee before 12. I said, well, what are you doing?
That's interesting.
No, and they don't like it because I posted, when Eva was born in the NICU, I was still posting as if she hadn't been born.
Yeah, I want to talk about all of this.
So I was almost pretending.
So wait, let's start from the beginning with all of this. So, for anyone listening, you when did you find out you were pregnant?
I found out I was pregnant about a year ago to this month.
So
in April.
In April, and your due date was January.
Due date was January the 16th, and I gave birth on November the 3rd. So 10 and a half weeks early. So she was born at 29 weeks plus 3 days.
God, that is so early.
So I was like 2 weeks
because
into
no one, I mean, none of us, no one knew. And then I think you then texted me saying, by the way, I've given birth, and everyone, because we had your baby shower booked, but you'd already had the baby.
Yeah.
So Emily had to cancel.
No, it was awful.
Tell me exactly what actually happened. What suddenly happened?
So, really annoyingly, like nothing really happened.
Yeah.
Is the short answer of it. But essentially, I just had a preterm birth, and I still don't know the reason as to why. My pregnancy was totally fine, like completely normal. It was very low risk.
Did you struggle to getting pregnant, or it was quite easy?
It took about a year of on and off. You know, like I'm not saying to the month I was doing it like regimentally, but it did take about a year. It definitely didn't happen as quickly as what I thought it would, for sure. And it took about a year. And then, but even so, there was no complications. It was all fine. It was all perfect. And I'm, young, fit, healthy. Like
You're not a smoker like this old.
I don't chuff like you.
Chuffing away,
and I had this really bad cough around Halloween in October, and it was really bad to the point where like I would be up in the night holding my stomach and my back coughing and I said to Jordan, this is going to put me into labour, I'm sure of it. Fast forward like a couple of days, like maybe 4 or 5 days of having this horrendous cough, I get like this small bleed. And so I go into the triage, which is like an A&E for pregnant women, for those of you who don't know. And they monitor me for 24 hours because essentially when you bleed, when you're pregnant, it can be quite normal. It is like a normal thing. If the blood is, sorry TMI, is brown, they kind of consider it as old blood. So it's just like your cervix often like
losing,
it doesn't really mean too much. However, they want to monitor you in case you bleed more, blah, blah, blah. And I'm in the hospital and the baby's happy, so I'm kind of happy, not really thinking too much of it. They've checked everything, my cervix, it was very much closed. They've checked my blood pressure, I had a scan, everything was all fine internally. But I did say to them, like, I have this cough and like I'm not feeling very well. Could that be anything? And they all just laugh at me. They're like, no, like it's fine. Your cough won't do anything. I was like, okay.
Cough the baby
And
out.
then I genuinely, I think so. But they all think I'm mad for thinking that. So then they discharged me after 24 hours. As I left, I did say to them, I was like, my back's starting to hurt. Is that normal? But again, I've never been pregnant. I don't really know. I just assume you ache all over when you're in your third trimester, you know. Your body's growing, it's changing all the time. And they said, is it enough to take a painkiller? And I said, no. And they said, should be fine. Go home, felt fine, had a shower, went actually to fireworks night display, you know, it was fine. My back was aching, but that was about it. And then on the drive home, it was like about 11 o'clock, it went from my back to started going to my front, the pain, what felt like a contraction, but I had never had contractions before. So I was like, is this a contraction or is this just Braxton Hicks?
Can you explain the difference quickly? Because
So the difference is Braxton Hicks, which I now know isn't meant to hurt.
Right.
You don't really feel it. It feels like a tightening.
Yeah.
But contractions, you feel pain.
Like period pains.
Like, yes, almost, but it moves. The pain moves from your back to your front.
Right.
It's like and then it fades off, and then it comes back, and then it fades off.
Okay.
But I'm just driving along thinking, no way, like this. For me, again, not being pregnant, this is my first time doing all this. I have no idea what to expect. For me, being in labour was like in the films, you know. Yeah. There's water all over the floor. You're screaming in
She's
pain.
in Waitrose.
I'm in Waitrose getting the old organic eggs, you know, ready for dinner that evening. No, it was like, so I thought, no, this can't be it. It's not that painful. It's all right, you know, it's just a bit. So I said to myself, right, if I sleep through this, if I'm in labour, you can't sleep through labour, can you? Like in my head thinking. Yeah. So I slept through it. And then I woke up and I was like, oh, well, I can feel a bit better now. And then as I got up, I was like, no, it's still there. The pain is still there. Jordan, let's go. Like something's not right here. I'm still... I don't know, at that point, your sort of maternal instincts come in and you just think, right, this isn't right. You shouldn't be, I shouldn't have had this pain for so long. So went back in and I remember calling them actually before explaining the situation. They said, right, we need you to come in immediately for preterm labour. And when they said that, I was like, ooh. Really? Like, I can't give birth now. Like, she's tiny. And my bump was small. So in my head, I'm thinking she's going to be like a hamster coming out. And so I was rushing around, didn't have time to pack a bag. I literally just grabbed this black gym bag and like put some pajamas in and 2 thongs.
Oh yeah, keeping it sexy.
Yeah, I was like, forget it, put the thongs in. Because like the whole time I've refused to buy like...
I was not saying period pads, pregnancy pads.
Like
Bridget Jones numbers.
Yeah, they just didn't. Pregnancy is just not sexy anyway. So I was like, I'm not giving in to big knickers just yet. Because obviously I was only like 29 weeks. So I packed my thongs and off I went. And at that point, the pain had really ramped up. Like I was like, oh my God, like I was holding Jordan's hand and I was squeezing it. And I thought, this is so painful. And funny enough, Sophie Haboo's mum and sister was in the waiting room with me because her sister was giving birth.
I did hear this.
And Sophie was coming to see her sister in the triage. So we were all there together. I'm obviously so panicked at this point because I'm like, my anxiety is like I'm like shaking. I can't speak really because I'm just so scared because I'm pretty much in labour. And they lay me on the bed and they checked my cervix and I knew that it was bad when the guy said, I'm not sure what I'm seeing here. I'm just going to go get my boss.
Oh, no. I would have been hysterical.
And at that point, I was like, I'm hysterical, but I'm trying to concentrate because I'm in so much pain. So I'm like in this outer body experience, trying not to panic whilst panicking, whilst trying to deal with this pain. Because obviously I've not had an epidural, taken anything. Like, I didn't even really think I was in labour. I don't know what I was thinking. My brain was just scrambled. And then the senior doctor came in and checked and she said, okay, so you're 3 centimetres dilated, you're in like active labour. This can go one of 2 ways. We're going to give you steroids now to help with the baby's lungs and to help with her brain. It's called magnesium sulfate, which helps with it helps with their brain development or something. Don't quote me on this, but it's essentially to help them like potentially not have cerebral palsy and stuff. Right. Again, I might have this wrong, but they pump you with a load of stuff, which helps the baby. And she said, now whatever happens, you won't be leaving this hospital until you have the baby, but we need to try and keep the baby in there for as long as we can.
Jesus.
So we can either try and slow down the labour and stop it, and then we'll sew you back up and you'll be on bed rest.
What?
Yeah. And you'll be on bed rest for as long as you can.
Sew you back up, like literally actually sew you back up.
So they sew up your
Fucking hell,
cervix.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Or some women, you can't stop it and your body and the baby just comes and it all happens very fast. And in that moment, I knew, I was like, she's coming out. Like, I just know it. There's just no stopping her. And from that moment, it was, I think, about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. She was in my arms at 4.
Oh my God.
Yeah. My water, I went from 3 centimeters to 9 centimeters dilated in about 20 minutes. 10 minutes.
And they had no idea why that happened.
So I'm in A&E type thing now. I'm in a bed, which is like in this kind of like, it's not a labour room. So they've had to rush to find me a bed. And the midwife came in and I was like, I can't give birth to her now. I'm like, I don't know. I didn't even know what I was thinking. I was like, please. She said to me, and I remember it so clearly. She said, oh, don't worry, 29 weeks. It's a great gestational age. I was like, really?
What does that really mean?
It means like she was just trying to help me be like, don't worry, like it is okay.
Yeah.
There are babies that get born a lot sooner. And they wheeled me to the room, the labour room to give birth because I needed to start pushing. And within moments, my waters had broke and I was just pushing her out. And there was so many people in the room because they have to get the neonatal team in. They have to get all these people. And I said, can I have some painkillers? They said, there's no time. It's too late to have the painkillers. So I had no painkillers. She said to me, the midwife, which I could never have done it without her, she was holding my hand and she was like, okay, so have you been to your antenatal classes? Do you know how to, like, your breathing techniques?
Oh, what, the Lamar's classes? Is that what that means?
Antenatal class? I haven't even had a baby shower. I was waiting to have my baby.
I barely bought the bed.
I was having a C-section 2 months, hun. Planned.
Hun.
No, I don't know how to do this. And she said, don't worry, I'll teach you. And I literally just...
What, in the room she's teaching you how to breathe?
Yes. She just taught me how to do it.
I would have said, fucking get me a drink and
they tell you
going.
to push through like you're doing a poo. So you push through your bum. So that's why... And then I was so scared I was going to shit myself. I was like, trying not to poo, but trying to get a baby out at the same time.
No, don't.
And then when she was born, I didn't know
Was the pain excruciating when she actually came out?
Yes. Do you want to know the weirdest thing? It's like, I can't explain the pain. The pain was unbearably ridiculous. However, as soon as the baby comes out, it just stops. The pain stops.
Don't you get like a rush of like, because of all your hormones stuff? I suppose yours was probably different.
Mine was so different. I was just like,
so
firstly,
nervous.
I was just nervous because I didn't know how she was going to come out. I didn't know what size she was going to be. I genuinely thought she was going to be, I don't know why. I just, luckily when she came out, I just remember looking at her and she was crying, which is like unheard of as well. Because normally when you have a preterm baby, you have to have cesarean, but she was ready. She was just ready. It was so weird. And she was crying, and which means her lungs were good. Yeah. And they said to me, I think there was one really horrible part where the doctor was looking and there was another neonatal woman like trying to scan for her heartbeat. And she looked at me and she was like, the next one, she needs to come out. If you don't get her out on the next one, like on the next contraction, like I think she said it's imminent, what's the word? Imminent.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what the word was, but she's used this really weird word. She was like, and then I remember just Jordan coming down, like looking at me and going, Emily, the next push, she has to come out. And then I was like, this thing just came over me. Like, I thought, you know what? I've worked too fucking hard. She is not coming out dead. Like, I had this weird thing that just came over me. And I just was on the next contract and I just did it. And then she came out and I was like, thank God. And yeah, it was just weird. They said to me, right, as soon as she comes out, they did warn me. They were like, we're going to have to put her in a plastic bag. So don't be scared. But it's to keep her warm because she's so small. Yeah. So they wrapped her in this plastic bag and she genuinely looked like a chicken in a bag from Waitrose. Oh she was like bright pink and in this little bag. And I was holding her for a little bit.
How small was she?
She was just under 3 pounds.
What does that mean? What are we talking?
So I'm talking like
Oh my God, mini.
That big, maybe, yeah, that big.
Jesus.
I remember looking at her and I just thought, you're going to be fine. It was so weird, Liv. Like, I can't explain the experience. I looked at her and I just said, oh, you're going to be fine.
Did it cross your mind that she might not have made it?
After. So not in that moment. So then she gets willed very, very quickly. So I don't get to hold her. It was a really weird experience. I got to hold her for about a minute, but she needed to be she needed to have breathing support and to be checked over. And there are so many complications that come with having a preterm birth. Lucky I kind of didn't know.
Yeah.
So I was quite oblivious, which is kind of good. But she was born in a great condition. So our kind of like, we'd had a good starting point, you know. And because they then sent my placenta off
To make gummies.
no, I wish. That
Well-
was going to happen. But they had to send it off to get tested because try and find a reason as to why this happened. A lot of the time it's from infection. So it's from like if you have a urine infection or some sort of infection in your body or the baby has an infection, then you can sometimes give birth early, but neither of us had any infection. Sometimes it's from like your placenta stopping to work and things like that. Again, no problems, nothing.
So weird.
So I'll never know, which is kind of one of the hardest things because it's like, you know, when your boyfriend breaks up with you or you're in a relationship and you
need like the closure kind of thing.
You know, was it this? Was it that? Maybe it was this. Maybe
Or if you feel like you've done, or you like re-tracking on everything you did if you suddenly had done something.
Oh yeah, was it? Yeah, but gut feeling for me was the cough. But I said to them, the midwife, I said, please, can you test my virals? I've got a virus.
Yeah.
I'm sure of it. I would be so surprised if it come back with something. This is what she said to me. I really don't think, and it did. It came back that I had the flu, but the doctors just laugh at. They just say no, it's not that, because otherwise there would be so many preterm births, and I kind of get what they mean by that, but. You know, you just have a bit of a feeling, but I'll never know. I guess I'll know more when I try again.
Do you worry about trying again?
Yes, because that is really tricky to go through, you know.
Could you go through it like knowing...
And we were very lucky. Eva had no problems apart from the fact she had to grow. I mean, don't get me wrong, when we were in there were a few, you know...
How long was she in the intensive... She was in intensive care, wasn't she?
So she was in intensive care for only 7 or 5 days, I think it was. But because she wasn't ventilated, which is essentially where breathing is done for you, intubated, I think it's called.
Incubated?
Intubated.
Look at me
It's
listing off
basically
names
where
I've got fuck
a
all idea
machine,
about. Like.
She wasn't an incubator, but it's this machine that breathes for you. But she could breathe on her own from the beginning. So she moved from ICU down to HDU, which is high dependency, which is where they have kind of like a lower machine that just breathes, that gives you just like help, but it's not like doing any work for you. Right. And then she had, obviously she was very jaundiced. She had loads of things that she had to learn. Remember, when she was born, she didn't even know how to like swallow, or none of her reflexes had been developed. So her brain was so undeveloped that like it had to develop in an incubator instead of in me, which is just wild. That
is crazy.
Yeah, and she, to be honest, she did so well. Like a lot of the time, a lot of babies that are born early, they have to have blood transfusions. They have to have, because they get anemic. They have to have, they have brain bleeds a lot.
Yeah, so
they pick up infection because, you know, you're in a hospital environment. They have no immune system. So all of these things, you know, as a mum, I'm just worrying all the time, thinking, oh my God, what am I going to get thrown? Like, what am I going to do if she gets this? You know, there's just so much going through my head. But there were moments just after I'd given birth, I recovered very well. Literally within half an hour, I was up on my feet having a shower.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. It was weird. It was wild.
And did you have much of a bump after she...
It went flat pretty much. Like, it's just so weird.
And so, how long then was she in hospital generally for?
53 days.
Fuck. Because I didn't
tell anyone.
No, because I remember, and then we all heard, not we all heard rumors, but because I
Well,
I heard
you would
everyone
have.
heard
I wouldn't
something-
have posted anything
because
on
you didn't
social
post for
media.
ages,
So
and then
many
everyone was
people were
slightly
worrying.
worried. But I don't think anyone wanted to message because it's such a weird thing. You don't want to suddenly.
Do you know what? I think what happened with all of that was, firstly, I didn't feel like I could send out
You can't
it
send a
was a weird
broadcast.
one.
Sorry, everyone. I've actually had my baby.
No,
Don't
but they
worry.
do. You know, like they send out the Eva June born
Yeah.
away with a big healthy baby. For me, I was firstly so scared because I didn't know what was going to happen to her.
Yeah.
So I was so petrified that I didn't want to send out a message and then have to send another one saying she's got.
Yeah, but also, so once she was born, though, what was the still? How long was it risky of the chances of her surviving?
Every week, the first 48 hours are really critical because of brain bleed and stuff.
Yeah.
But, we sat down with the consultant and she sat in the room with us and explained the journey.
Yeah.
And she said, right, your baby is born at 29 weeks. At 29 weeks, there's a 95% chance survival, which is huge,
yeah.
right? And lots of those babies pretty much, they're happy and they're healthy. But there's obviously, even like 1 week, so from 28 weeks to 29 weeks, it makes a huge difference. From 29 weeks to 30 weeks,
Yeah.
huge difference. Every hour counts in there because they are developing, they're growing. It's like, it's wild.
Yeah.
Like I learned so much. And I remember after I had, just after I'd given birth, I was then put on a ward, right? And on the ward, obviously, I'm with loads of other ladies who have had their babies.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting in a room,
By yourself.
in a cubicle, and I can hear all these babies crying
don't.
and being wheeled around, and their mum, and they're just like had this normal journey. And I remember just sitting there, and I remember the midwife coming in, and my blood pressure wouldn't go down. And she looked at me and she just said, I've got to get you off this ward. This is so unfair that we've put you here.
That would be torture.
It was awful. So they found me a side room and they put me in there.
Yeah.
And when I went in there, I calmed down a bit. And this woman actually, she came in and she did my blood pressure. And she obviously didn't really know what was going on. And she just looked at me and she went, where's your baby?
Oh no, don't.
And I was like, don't ask me that.
That's also such lack of sensitivity.
Yeah, I was like, don't ask me. But other than that, that was the only bad experience I had with the whole
Yeah.
hospital. Like the hospital.
Where was this? Chelsea and Westminster?
This was at Chelsea and Westminster, and shout out to Chelsea Westminster because they were incredible. Like the NHS in that NICU unit, it's insane.
Really?
Like the things they do. I think that was they've had like the highest graded unit there for NICU. So they do surgeries there on little tiny babies. Because a lot of the time as well, they have perforated bowels, they have all this stuff, they have so much that can go wrong. They're so fragile and they're so resilient. These babies, they have the world chucked at them, in the first few days of life, and they fight it.
Yeah.
And it's mad to see, like, even the mums that I got chatting to in there, and I've seen everything.
Did you meet anyone else in there going through the same thing? Or was
Oh my God, yeah, loads.
Really?
Every story's different, every journey's different. I've seen less stressful ones with babies who are only in there for 4 days, who came out full term and they just needed to like have a little breathing support. I've seen stories where they've been born at 23 weeks, 24 weeks, they haven't made it.
But with did you ever speak to any other mothers who'd gone through a very similar thing where there was absolutely no reason?
Most of them have no
reason why it happened though.
Nope. And one lady I met, this was her second time it happened.
Really?
But they monitored her a lot closely the second time, and she managed to get the baby to around 32, 33 weeks. And when you do that, it's safer, the longer the better, basically. But she did really well. I mean, it was tough. It was the toughest thing I've ever done. And that is why I didn't
say
anything and do it on social media, because remember, she was meant to be born in January, so I still had lots of jobs booked in.
Because I think did you speak about this briefly somewhere, but you basically kept posting, or were you posting as if you were still pregnant, or you just didn't even reference, or you posted it?
No, I didn't reference it. But
did you find that hard? Because essentially,
I felt
what
I
was
was living
going,
a lie.
Yeah,
it was really hard.
Because what was in real life was so different to what was.
I was going through hell. But the reasons why, firstly, I'm sorry, I have to make money like the next person,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
I have a daughter now as well, even more reason to make money. Secondly, the main reason was I couldn't stay in the NICU with her. I had to leave her every single evening.
Oh, God.
So imagine me putting it out to 300, nearly 400,000 people when it's not going to take them 2 minutes to really guess where she might be.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know if there's some stranger who might do something. Like, I know the odds are so low, but in my head at the time, I thought her safety is very important.
Yeah.
I don't want people knowing that I'm in there
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
for the next God
I
knows
didn't
how
even
long.
think about it like that,
So
to be
it
honest.
was mainly a safety situation. I didn't want people knowing what was going on or where I was until I was ready.
Yeah.
And I had so much to process, and so did Jordan. My mum said to me, she said, "You were just wired. Like, I've never seen anything like it." I can't explain the whole, like, when you give birth, and I was expecting this whole gushy, like, love of my life, felt love like no other. All of that was taken because
Just
I
pure
had
nerves.
fear.
Yeah.
Just fear, riddled with it. Just, I couldn't enjoy any of it because I was just in such a state.
Yeah.
And it's just such a unique thing. And I mean, no one really gets it unless you go through it. I know that
Yeah.
sounds a bit wanky, but
Well, no, I could never understand what
it's
that
just
would be
true.
like.
And the women in there, that's why it is nice speaking to them because they get it. But it's also kind of a bit of a double-edged sword because I speak to the ladies in there and I make friends, and then they tell me what's happening with their baby, and I'm like, oh my God, that might happen to Eva. And like, I don't know, sometimes
It's a lot.
it's a lot hearing all the different things go on, and a lot goes on. And my body felt really out of place because it is Mother Nature. Like, your body does some weird stuff. So
So I'm assuming you obviously you weren't breastfeeding at the time.
she couldn't be fed. She had to be fed through a tube.
Yeah.
But yeah, I breastfed the whole time, but
Right.
I pumped.
Pumped and that got you. So
So
that's why
then
you're
it
still
got fed
breastfeeding
to
now.
her through a tube.
Okay.
Because the thing with breast milk is, I've learned so much about breast milk as well. It's filled with,
The good stuff.
it's not even the good, it's more the antibodies.
Yeah.
So she will then have my antibodies because she has such a bad immune system.
Yeah.
Like, she's been ill a couple of times and caught viruses. Because obviously she's still very delicate, and she was born in winter, so she got RSV, she's had all sorts. And when she's ill, my breast milk changes colour.
What?
Yeah. It's so bizarre. I put it on my YouTube the other day.
What do you mean it changes colour?
So normally it's like a white milky, it's milk.
Yeah.
And it has this, like, whenever she's unwell, it has like a greeny, bluey tinge to it. And I'm not lying, it's incredible.
Niche.
I know.
That is niche.
It's unreal. I put a video of it on my YouTube because I was just so impressed.
The benefits of breastfeeding.
Yeah, and now I get it because I've never really been one, like, I know breast is best, but I've never really looked in. I've fed babies.
I'll be totally honest, because I'm so fucking vain. Every time the thought of me being pregnant, I was like, I'm not breastfeeding. I'm not losing these puppies. But
I was formula fed, I don't think there's quite a lot wrong with me. There's not a lot wrong with me.
there's a lot wrong with
But
me.
I never thought about it. And then really, when you go through something, and I just, for me, it felt like the only thing I could do for her anyway.
Yeah.
Because I obviously couldn't do much for her. She was growing in a box with nurses and wires and God knows what hanging out. But by me breastfeeding and pumping, I felt it gave me like a purpose.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I'm
And feel
doing
like
this
mother.
for her. And I feel like this is incredible. So, yeah, rate the breastfeeding. Although now my tits are like, no personality. And
Get on all fours and get a bucket out. Like,
literally, they're just the life sucked out of them.
how was your relationship with Jordan through all of this? Like, was it ever hard between you two because of the stress of all of it?
You kind of, yeah, because remember, we're still working. This is another thing, like, with being in NICU, and this is what they're trying to change at the moment with the government, is all these parents, they're not on their maternity leave yet. So they're trying to work and juggle and they're looking after their kid. It's horrible. And then realising, how are we going to afford to pay for our rent? How are we going to do this? Because they're not working. They have to they don't get just time off, their leave. They have to take unpaid work. So Jordan was still working as well as me. So we were juggling that as well. We became more of a team. He became very strong for me in terms of, like, we were just strong for each other. He would have a few days where I would need to be strong for him, and then I would have days where it was like roles
Yeah.
reversed. It was weird. It's like when I was having a wobble, he wasn't. When he was having a wobble,
But that's
I
like the
wasn't.
perfect balance.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, it's tough because not only are you going through that motion of it's not just you guys anymore.
Yeah.
It's this thing that you love so much, and it's like a protection thing. I'm like, I would do anything to make sure she's okay. It's just so.
But that's also probably how he felt about you, because his worry is
His was both.
Yeah.
Both. And I worried about him as well, but I think
It's different.
it's hormones as well. When you're, I couldn't stop crying some of the days because when your milk comes in and stuff, you get so emotional. And I think it's just tough. It was just tough. I mean, motherhood, I think at the beginning of it, everyone says, oh, it's tough anyway, but.
No, I think but I think some situations are slightly different to others. Like,
Yeah, and you know what? The way I looked at it, the whole time, I just kept thinking, she's here, she's breathing, she's alive. What
Yeah.
more could I ask for? There are some people a lot worse off than me in my situation.
Yeah.
And I was struggling with this, so God knows how they dealt with, other things. So I just very much kept bringing it back. I kept telling myself, like, no, but, it could have been so much worse. She's healthy, she's good, she's doing well. And that's kind of how I looked at it and had the outlook. And that's kind of what pushed me through, to be honest.
And then how is she now?
Amazing. She's a fighter. The girl is like,
Just like you.
my mum said to me, she was like, this is good luck. Good luck. She's a strong-willed, but she needed to have that strong will to get through what she did.
Yeah.
And she is. She's just like, she is so cute and just
I
so
need to meet
amazing.
her.
Oh my God. She's just like, she amazes me at how strong she is.
Do you think now you're like not finally enjoying motherhood, but does it feel more now like the motherhood you had thought you were going to have?
Yes. Now I feel the stronger she gets and the bigger she gets,
Yeah.
the more relaxed I'm getting, and little things like she's had RSV virus, which is something that's like a baby cold, which can cause bronchitis. She has bronchitis twice. One of the times we were hospitalized, which was just a whole nother story. She was technically like 9 days born, corrected age, which,
Right.
so I'll explain. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, a corrected age is given to a premature baby because they aren't set to meet their milestones until their due date. So let's pretend. So Eva was born on the 3rd of November, but technically on the 16th of Jan is
Right.
her due date. It's her corrected age.
Yeah.
So she's not expected to smile until, 10 weeks later than Sophia Boo's sister, who was born, whose baby's born 2 days after mine. And, so it gives them that opportunity to catch up. And then by 2 years old, it goes because they catch up.
Right.
So the gap closes almost. They just need a bit of...
I didn't actually know any of that.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know any of it. And I was like, wow, so she's got 2 birthdays. What a queen.
Legend.
So yeah, she's got a little corrected age, which, and to be honest, she gave herself a better birthday, like January. Sorry if you're born in January listening to this, but it's terrible. They call them sale babies
What does that mean?
because everyone's got no money to buy them all the January sale stuff. So now she's a Scorpio like me. We're matching. Or
That's
Jordan.
Are you all 3 Scorpios?
No, Jordan's not.
Sorry,
He's a Virgo, but...
I'm a Virgo. How dare you?
No, but Scorpios and Virgos get on.
Do they?
Yeah, they got good...
Tristan and I definitely didn't. He's a Scorpio.
Yeah, but he's a man.
So wait, so how you were just saying about her due date age. What now is the only worry with her? Is it the same worries as someone if their baby was born at the normal sort of stage? What would be the worry now?
The worries
Just
now,
picking up
no.
flus.
So she has she's had a lot of appointments like physiotherapy. So it's more like checking her, neurological movement.
Look at you learning all these big words. Fucking hell.
I don't quote me on that. But essentially to make sure she's moving and her brain's connecting with her body. Let's say.
Yeah.
Which is all good. She's absolutely killing it, which I know because she doesn't bloody stop moving. She's like she's so alert. And she's just so with it. And she's just so clever. Honestly, I'm just like, what? How? But she's so alert. She's so on it. She's so with it. And luckily for us, she's doing so well. So she has her appointments to check to make sure she's all good. And she'll have those for quite a while. Now she's of a weight, it's not as dangerous, her catching things.
Got you.
So that's my biggest fear.
Are you nervous with her around people?
I was,
Were you?
really,
Did you
yeah.
not introduce her to anyone for quite a while?
I did because, I can't stay locked in my house.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, kids need to catch things, right?
Yeah.
And that's the only way they build their immune system, really. They just have to catch stuff. And the doctors very much said to me, look, you just be careful with it. Wash your hands loads. Don't let anyone with a cold come near her.
Or kiss her. Did you see this story the other day in the Daily Mail about a baby? Someone kissed a baby who had herpes. The child had to lose its eye.
No, it's
or
really,
something
that
really
is
shocking.
really
really,
dangerous.
yeah.
And that
Something
again was
awful like
something
that.
else that I was petrified of. And it's so annoying because I'm quite a chilled person.
Yeah.
I never wanted to be that mum who was just like, don't touch my baby, wash your hands. I'm quite relaxed. So for
Yeah,
me
but I
to then
think
become that
your
person,
case was, yeah.
I was almost getting annoyed at myself. I was like, oh my God, this is just,
No, but you have to be.
I was giving myself the ick. But unfortunately,
mummick.
she did actually catch RSV, which is one of the main viruses.
From anything particular, that's just something babies catch.
There's seasons of it. So it was
Right.
January and it's very much RSV season. It's winter bugs, winter viruses.
Yeah.
And there's kind of not really getting, there's nothing you can do. It's everywhere, It's just germs she's also got a cousin who's 1 year old and we hang out with them a lot. And
Yeah.
anything she's got, Eva's going to get. It's like having a sister. If
Yeah.
I had another child, it would be the same thing. They catch things from nursery. You just can't protect them.
Yeah,
You can do as much as you can, but there's only so much you can do. Anyway, she actually got it when she was 9 weeks old. And TikTok taught me, TikTok basically, I don't want to say saved her life, but helped her a lot from me
What
watching
was
TikTok.
taught you everything? That's
Because I'd seen these videos on TikTok about RSV, which is this virus, and they all say they do these they always say day 4 and 5 is worse. It's the peak of the virus, where the breathing goes, where it pulls in, and basically they can't breathe properly, so their oxygen levels drop.
Yeah.
So she had this cold, which I obviously was shitting myself. I was like, oh my, and then she had this cough, and I was like, oh my God, what is this going to be? And I said to Jordan, we need to go to hospital now because this is going back into hospital, by the way, after the 53 days. We'd only been home around 3-4 weeks. I said, because I've seen on TikTok that it goes bad, it gets worse after the peak of the virus is, I think, day 5,
Yeah.
4 or 5. And we wanted out about day 3. So we went into A&E and I said, they do take breathing stuff very seriously in A&E with newborn babies. You get seen straight away.
Yeah.
And I said, the lady wasn't going to admit us. And I turned around and I was like, please admit us. Her breathing's getting bad. She's got bronchitis. She said she's got bronchitis, but I was like, it's going to get worse. She's premature. She has tiny little lungs. Please admit us. And she said, okay, fine. Because of the situation and the fact she's still so small, we'll admit you just in case. I said, I need to be here for when it gets bad.
Yeah.
And I just put my foot down with them. I was like, I need to be in hospital because she'll need to go on oxygen. So please let me stay. And they're like, okay, fine. And within hours, her oxygen levels dropped to 80. I just knew as a mum. And it got so bad that then she got then willed to high dependency and put on CPAP, which is quite a high amount of oxygen. It's this mask that is tied over their head. And she was in there for another week. And one of the ladies, they do this suctioning thing where they get rid of their secretions from their nose, because obviously when you're a baby you can't blow your nose.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've
So
seen.
they suction their nose
Yeah.
and their mouth to help them. And with the virus, there's nothing you can give them. You just have to make it more comfortable for them to ride out.
Yeah.
And there was this one lady who was suctioning her nose and her mouth, and I looked at Eva and she was blue. And I looked at her
Oh my God,
and
Emily,
I went,
I had no idea about half of this stuff.
I know. And I went, she's a really funny colour to the lady, and the midwife, the nurse. And she said, oh yeah, she is, isn't she? And I looked at the monitor.
This is making me nervous of nurses. Why are they being so do you think they're a bit, not lackadaisical, but their approach to it's a bit calmer than you would have liked? Or
Remember, they do it every day. It's it's like them blowing their nose the amount of time they do it. It's their bread and butter in there, someone having a virus. They know I think they just, basically what had happened, I looked at the monitor her heart rate had dropped to 70, and I just ran out the room. Jordan was at work, and I went to there was like a reception area. I just screamed. I was like, my baby's gone blue, my baby's gone blue, and I couldn't move. And
Oh my God.
the woman, obviously, I knew it was going to happen. They hit the emergency alarm, and then I was just standing in the corridor like this. I couldn't breathe. I was just still, like, couldn't move. I wasn't crying. I was just like this, still. And there was people running past me, doctors, a crash cart, everyone running into the room. Where's the cardiac code, blah, blah, blah. They came from everywhere, all floors. And I was like, and then my mum ran out, and I said, Mum, is she going to die? And my mum looked at me and she said, I don't know. And I went, and I just couldn't breathe. And I was like, oh my God.
This is absolutely terrifying.
No. And I'm feeling.
But wait, hang on a minute though. So you ran out to say that. Why didn't the nurse in there do anything? Or
She did. She hit the emergency alarm.
she did hit it. But okay, fine. Because
And then some woman came running out to me and she was like, it's okay. Like, she's breathing again. And I was like, and I just let go of my breath. And the lady came in. I shouldn't laugh. But she said, do you want to go in and see her? And I said, I can't move. I'm going to faint. Because I'd been through, I've been through my whole body. I can't. And I said, I can't move. And she said, do you want me to push you in on a chair? I said, yeah. And I shit you not, it was a teacher's chair with 3 wheels. And I wheeled in. I looked like the patient. And I wheeled in. And what had happened was, I mean, I looked more insane than she did, is there's this nerve that runs from the back of your head all the way down your body called the vagus nerve, the vagal nerve. And when you stimulate it, you can essentially pass out.
oh my God.
So she pretty much fainted on me. She did a Gillian McKeith. But I was like...
I thought you were saying that's what you did.
No,
I was like,
no, that's what happened to her. It got stimulated from her... The lady suctioned her too far. She shouldn't have gone down that far.
Oh
yeah.
God.
Anyway, bad day at the office, whatever. I can't, these women are amazing.
Yeah.
She didn't mean it. She really didn't. It was just one of those things. And every baby reacts different,
Yeah.
So that was that drama that I then had to get over. It was more scary. But yeah, I thought at that point, I thought I was going to lose her. I thought that was it. She's gone. But
Oh my God. That's terrifying.
So then we got over that, and that made me even more anxious. Now, though, she's had a few colds. This was the point of this very long story. Sorry, everyone. Cries babbling.
No, this is so interesting because I want, like, also for other people listening, if they've ever gone through it, like, to hear your side of it. And also, I'd love to know any advice you would give to anyone in your position.
Yeah. So basically, the more she gets older, the better she is at dealing with things. So like a cold, a cough, she's had bronchitis since, and she didn't have to go to hospital or anything. She didn't need any help. So the bigger they get, the stronger they get, essentially is what happened. And I actually coming back to your point about advice for people who have been through this or going through it or whatever. I want to say once a week, I get a message from someone, maybe twice a week actually, saying that they've just had a baby. They've given birth to 28 weeks, I think 29 weeks, or 26 weeks. They're currently sitting in NICU. Like, any advice, please? Like, I watch your story and it gives me hope. And that honestly just that breaks me, because I'm just like, that is, I can't believe that my story is giving you, because when it happened to me, I was desperate to find someone who had been through it. I was like, oh my gosh, who can I look at that has a healthy baby, a happy baby? They get out of this awful dark old tunnel, and there's light at the end of it. I was desperate to find that, and I did find a few women on TikTok in America, and I just loved looking at them when I was in there, and I just thought, oh my God, if I can do that for other people, that's going to be amazing. And that's why I do YouTube.
Would you say it was very much like trust your gut kind of thing? Like, when you knew you had to go to hospital, there was something telling you, like that.
You do. Us women, we're given that intuition for a reason. It's given to us because of things like that. You just know as a mum, like, even explaining about the RSV situation, I knew. I was like, and I timed it implicitly. I'd smashed the timing. Even the nurse was like, you have killed it. Because any earlier, we would have sent her home. She was just tinkering on the edge of needing to be admitted. And I was like, and I said, admit her. And then, you just know, don't you? It's so weird. You'll get it when you become a mum. You just know when you know.
I think I'd have a fucking heart attack if
No,
I'm
you
totally
would.
honest.
I mean,
What was the reaction like when you first announced? Because how did you do it? Did you suddenly say, I have had my baby on social media?
I did a video. I always wanted to, I always was going to announce it, but being completely honest, like for a long time, I wasn't, and because of the safety thing, I wanted to wait till I got her home.
Yeah.
I knew as soon as I got her home, I was going to announce it because I hate lying to all my followers. I hated it.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't enjoy living a lie. Like, it was horrible. I'm such an honest person. I really am. Like, I'm always honest about everything that I do. And I don't know, I just felt like I wasn't being my true self. And yeah, so what was really, really refreshing, and I knew this was going to happen, that is why I did such a detailed video of the whole journey. I knew I was going to get loads of people come to me saying that they had been through it.
Yeah.
And me reading those messages gave me a lot of reassurance.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the amount of people that I now chat to through social media, that's why it's such a great thing in so many ways, is I've had reassurance from people who have had one preterm birth, then a full-term one. I've had ones that have come to me about loads of things, because even about going on holiday, for example, I will then ask them.
Like travel. So travel.
Travelling.
So have you travelled with Eva yet?
No, we're going tomorrow. But she's 6 months old now. So I was asking them, like, when's the best time to travel? Because I was so scared of her getting ill, you know, like all these things. And these are like these ladies who have been through it all that I can chat to. And also it made me feel not so alone, because there are so many of us.
Yeah.
There are so many families. If you read the comments under I think there's like maybe 3,000.
That really is the power of social media,
Yeah.
though. Like, that's where it's such a positive thing,
Yeah.
because you can seek help from like anyone.
And it gives you reassurance, and you can just, it's just nice to know things. And yeah, like I said, just to get that reassurance from other people, it just really helps. And when you're a new mum and you're a mum for the first time, I don't know what I'm doing. It's the biggest guessing game
Also,
ever.
you still had 2 more months of reading those books.
I know, and
you
going
lost
to
out
my
on.
lessons, my mom lessons, and my antenatal classes. Yeah, I think, no one knows what they're doing. It's all I can say is you just wing it.
Just wing it and follow your heart. I
Wing it
suppose.
and ask for your Instagram followers.
Yeah, go on TikTok.
Yeah, literally, and go on TikTok.
I mean, that is
But yeah, it's
such a mental story.
yeah, it's been amazing. And now I'm like on the hunt for women's stories who have had I love reading the stories where they've had one preterm birth and then they've gone to carry full term for the next time.
So have you gone now though? Have you gone and had full checks and everything to work out, like, because I know you said there's nothing. What did the doctors say when you've said, when you want to try for another baby, have they said there's anything in particular you should or shouldn't do that could make this happen again?
So I had a meeting with the whole team sort of thing about, why, or, so they could try and give me some sort of reason, which they couldn't. However, what they did say is next time I will be put into a category where I'll be very closely monitored in terms of I'll be in like the group of mums who have, had a preterm birth already. So it's kind of like high risk.
Okay.
So they will also give me progesterone, which will potentially, I think that calms your uterus.
Yeah.
And then I will also probably get scanned a lot more to make sure my cervix isn't shortening. And they'll do little things to try and help prolong pregnancy.
Got you.
Sometimes, look, when a baby wants to come, the baby wants to come at the end of the day. Like, that's what they've all said to me. There's no guarantee. You just got to ride it.
Blimey. Well, thank God she's all right.
She
and
is.
she's going on her first holiday to Dubai.
She's going on a holobobs. I know.
Normally our listener dilemmas are slightly perverted and weird, but these ones I think we've kept the mum's edition. So this, we don't need to do welcome, we're not even welcome part two. So these are some listener questions, Blackwell. How do you balance being devoted to your newborn and learning this new chapter in private with your social media and trolls' comments about your motherhood?
Oh, gosh, I just don't listen to what they have to say.
I feel like you're going to say some Nest comment there. Do it, please, because this makes me laugh so much. From
What my
Gavin
nest,
and Stacey.
All right, what's a carrot? I tells you what I think about the listener's comment, and I don't give a fuck. I go back to Barry and I have a chill out.
Fuck is that? Oh my God, it's so good. But in all seriousness, but I still find this, the mum trolling, because actually you see a lot of mums posting on their stories. I think I mentioned this before, Megan McKenna gets it.
Oh my God, they're horrible.
But they're fuckers, like,
They don't, a lot of them don't like me. Oh my God. Well, I think, do you know what?
But it's also because your your body bounced back pretty quickly. But it's everyone's different, isn't it, with the way they are post birth?
Yes, and also people need to remember I didn't have much of a bump anyway to get rid of.
Yeah.
Not that it's anyone's business, but I do sometimes feel like commenting, oh, like someone's like, oh, well, I'm so happy for you. You get to go back to your gym regime. I thought gym regime is just
But you're
running
also
around the
like,
house with fear and
sorry,
anxiety.
I
love.
was in a hospital for 2 months with my
premature
premature baby.
Literally, I really did lose the weight, and that was purely down to anxiety and breastfeeding. It's like free lipo.
Do you have a nanny or help or anything?
I have my mum, if that counts.
Oh,
so,
Rachel.
Yeah, I do have Rachie. She comes up twice a week because I'm still working. So she does, like Rachel's got her now, for example. So any like little meetings I have, I book them in either on a Tuesday or a Thursday, and I cram everything in those 2 days, and then I'm back to mum life.
But best of both. Do you you just said something then. When do you think, or have you thought about when you would be ready to try for another baby? Or have you not really, you're just trying to get through this bit?
So they actually said to me to wait a year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but to be honest, I think they say that for all births, but it's to basically get your
My
make sure
mother
your body...
certainly didn't wait. She waited 3 fucking months till I was 3 and then got pregnant again.
3 months?
4 months, sorry. I was 4 months when she was then pregnant with my sister.
That's rough. That is hard work. No, I think it all depends on kind of your birth, because I recovered so quickly. I'm sure I would be fine, but they do say just to wait a year because it will like...
But maybe also the mental side of that as well. Or do you think mentally you are fine?
I think I am, yeah, because I'm grateful now. I'm really grateful. I don't have... Yeah, it's traumatic and it was awful, but I'm very grateful because I can't believe I'm just so happy she's okay, you know? That's how I look at it. Like, I don't have time to be sad anymore. I've done that part. I've done the worrying. I need to enjoy it now.
Yeah,
so,
and you can't like live in fear, I suppose.
I can't, and I really can't, and I'm bored of doing it. I'm bored of enjoying the moment, and I want to enjoy it more. So that's how I'm looking at it now.
That's good.
But in terms of, it was about the romance, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So because she's still quite young, we've done one date night.
Yeah.
And we were going to go for drinks after, and then we both looked at each other and said, we really miss her. Should we go home? Let's go home.
Sweet.
So we just...
You could always flash him your nip in your maternity bra, couldn't you? That's a bit sexy, isn't it? Or is it not really? I've never seen one.
It is weird, though, because your relationship does, like... We've been, like, passing ships in the night, you know. I've been on mum mode, he's been in work mode, like, and dad mode. That we're going to start finding more time for ourselves.
Yeah.
When I stop breastfeeding and I leave her for longer, you know, she can go to my mum's for the weekend or for a night, or Jordan's mum's, you know, she loves being at Nan and Granddad's. When she's a bit bigger, a bit older, then we'll start to get back into, you know, date
more
nights
routine and stuff.
and
I suppose
spending time just him and I, which will be really lovely.
But
just
you forget it is still very fresh. Like,
it's so fresh.
So fresh.
You've got to ride the waves, you know.
What are the 3 biggest things you've learned as a new mum that you wish people warned you about more?
No one warned you about fear. No one warned me about, like, being worried about illnesses. I mean, it's different for me but when I got pregnant, I never would thought I'd worry about a virus or like a kid getting ill ever. It didn't even cross my mind, because when I was younger, I don't know. I don't remember being particularly unwell.
No, because I'll be totally honest with you. Like, I went through this really bizarre phase, and to be honest, I'm not really in it, where I didn't want kids, and it wasn't because I didn't want to carry a child or anything like that. It was more the concern, personally, for the child growing up in where we are now with the world. Like, I just didn't want that. The stress of, like, I don't know if I could hack it if I had a child that wasn't very well. Like, I think I think I would find it incredibly hard.
You know what, Liv? There's something that comes over your body, and you just do it. Like, there were moments. Thousands of... I remember one day I was lying in bed and I woke up. This was just when she was born, and I was back at home. And I thought, I really don't want today to be real. Like, I just want to curl up in a ball and just pretend that nothing is happening. And you can't. You have to do it as a mum. You have to just... And then you think of your baby and you think, I'm doing it for her.
Yeah.
So that's what picks you up. You just get these new emotions and these new feelings and this new drive as a mum. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Your body just... It's weird. It creates it for you.
You get kicked into gear kind of thing. What are 3 self-care tips you have learnt are essential whilst being a new mum?
Self-care is really important. Like, I feel like the mums get forgotten about. We're last on the list, you know, and we're actually the ones that should be quite high up in terms of, like, looking after ourselves and having a bit of time, a bit of, you know, rest, especially when you're breastfeeding, like the energy that goes into it. And also looking after, you know, if you've got multiple children. I'm running a house. I think what if you can, this is what I do. Lucky, I'm so lucky I've got my mum. When she comes up, I'll book once a week, I'll book myself either a massage, get my nails done. And that's my little treat. Or my hair blow dried. And I know some people might think that's, you know, I don't know.
No, but listen, if it makes you feel
that
good, then
makes
you've got
me
to
feel
fucking
good,
do it.
Yeah, or a Pilates class, something. Or even just, do you know what is quite nice? Just sitting on your own for 2 minutes with your own thought, having a shower that's a bit longer than 2 seconds, where I actually shave my legs. And I just sit there for a bit or lie in the or stand up in the shower and I'm just thinking, oh, God,
Or get pissed up at the pub with me, hear more depressing stories, then run home to your happy baby and your husband.
Do you know what? I'd love to get pissed with you, but
Let's
I
go.
can't get too pissed unless I
'cause
pump. And then secondly, I've got a gap in the night. So I'll get back to you on that one when she's a bit older and sleeping through the night, and then I'll definitely be getting pissed.
Perfect. That was all incredible, and I'm so fucking glad that Eva's all right. What an amazing, it's an amazing story, but I mean, yeah, well done. You
could
should be
sit here
very
and talk
proud
for
of
hours.
yourself, by the way, because I think a lot of people, you've done fucking well to keep it together.
Oh, thank you.
And also to just keep like a brave face on it, because I think it would be a lot harder than it seems.
Yeah, it was a ride, but you know, that is life. The joys.
God, you're so thick-skinned, it's unbelievable. As in, you're just so good though. Anyway, thank you so much for that. Thank you, Emily Blackwell.
Thanks, guys.